Welcome back to Red Hood and the Outlaws right here at Comicstorian. This is where we take your favorite comic books and we break them down into narrations, allowing you to understand what happened to your favorite superheroes in an every week television show kind of format. If you enjoy this type of content, consider subscribing, hitting that like button, and let me catch you up as to how we got here. At this point in time, Red Hood is pretty much against the Bat family. He ran off on his own where he teamed up with Roy Harper, aka Arsenal, and Starfire, and after going on a journey to kill the Unnamed, they then went into space to try and save Starfire's sister. Once they came back, there was a little bit of a laughter that they heard, and it would appear that the Joker is out. This takes place during the storyline Death of the Family in the original New 52, so if you want to know that part of the storyline, I'll give you that link down below. But let's see what Jason was doing during this period. On his way home, Jason begins to think to himself that even before he died, there were a few things in life that could make him afraid. First was something happening to his mother. They know how that turned out. Second was an empty bread basket. Yeah, he has food issues. Third, Superman. And he is currently knocking on the side of their ship, asking if they have a moment to talk. He says they do not need to do this the hard way. And Roy then asks, how about they pretend they don't see Superman and they keep flying? And Superman says, that won't work. Super hearing, remember? Isabel says, why don't they just talk to him? And Jason says, well, because we're outlaws. What do you think he wants? Orn tells Starfire that he can teleport her and the others down to Earth from here. A cloaking program would make it impossible for the Kryptonian to locate them. Starfire says that is an excellent suggestion. Make it so. Everyone gets into the teleporter and begins to fade away, and outside, Superman's a little perturbed. Seconds later, down on the deserted island that is the Outlaws' base, Jason holds up his gun and Starfire says that he must relax. There is no way that even one such as Superman could have fallen. Jason tells her, yeah, keep telling yourself that. I fought beside him. Trust me when I say that when Superman wants something, there's nothing that can stand in his way. Roy says that it sounds like he almost respects him, and Jason looks around stating, yeah, just like how you respect a shark if you're surfing. And on cue, Superman floats down and Isabel asks, is it really a good idea to be pointing a gun at Superman? Jason says, look, I don't tell you how to serve the peanuts. Superman tells Starfire that his name is, but Starfire stops him stating, I might not have lived on Earth as long as you, but I know who you are. There is a reason I never took the opportunity to introduce myself. Krypton was never liked by the people of Tamarin, even when it was alive. Just then an arrow bounces off of Superman's chest and he asks, really? Are we really going to do this? And within a second, he uses his heat vision to knock everyone on the ground, excluding Isabel. As the red begins to fade, Superman says that he isn't here to hurt anyone. And Starfire lunges in stating, that's not going to be the problem that you think it is. Superman holds out his hand telling her, you misunderstand. I said I didn't want to hurt anyone. Not that I wouldn't. And with a quick punch, Starfire is knocked down to the ground. Just then another arrow hits Superman and he asks, this again? Can't you just fire them all at once so that we can move on? But before he could go on, a substance jets out covering Superman's face. And Jason asks, what's that one do? Roy explains that the arrow contains a chemical that when exposed to air, the gas turns into silicon. So his lungs should be filling up with gunk as they speak. Superman pulls what he can from his face, stating, that was quite impressive, but it won't work on someone who can raise their body temperature to the point where silicone burns. Everyone gets ready to brawl once again, but that's when a voice says, enough is enough! I'm a little disappointed. Superman, you're supposed to be the most powerful person on the planet, and you can't figure out how to text? And the three of you? You just overthrew an empire and freed a planet, and you can't take 5 minutes to have a conversation with Superman? Everyone stops, and Jason says, yeah, that's fair. Superman goes on, telling them, okay, well, I was recently approached by an intergalactic warlord named Hellspawn who's looking to enlist extraterrestrials into his cause. As another alien on Earth, I was wondering if Starfire had been approached. Roy tells him, no way, that never happened. Starfire stops him. Well, actually, the encounter was so brief and so bizarre I hadn't given it much thought since. I was blissfully alone for an afternoon when a blue-flamed alien appeared. He was speaking on behalf of this Hellspawn. Superman says that he heard through the grapevine that the off-worlders were given the same hard sell, and that they also turned down his people. If it's not too much trouble, he would like to ask Starfire to contact him if she is to hear from these people again. Roy tells him to just suck it up and ask, and Starfire says, "It is very clear. Superman needs our help." Superman tells them, "Look, the truth of the matter is that it is taking every bit of self-control to not drag the three of you back to the States and see you charged and convicted for the multitude of crimes that you have racked up. I can only imagine the things that you've done since you've all banded together, but I understand that they're your methods, not mine. Batman vouched for you, Jason." Superman then scans the table that Jason is sitting on and says, "If you're going to be holding a trillion Starblader, you might want to take the safety off first." Roy then asks, "When you go back to the Justice League, can you tell Green Arrow something like, 'Hey!'" Superman tells him, "I don't normally hang out with..." "You know what? Sure. Hey, got it." Later, back in Gotham, Isabel opens up the door to her apartment stating that it isn't much, but it's home. It's close to the airport and it's functional. Jason tells her that he's the last person that she has to explain herself to. And as Jason gets closer, Isabel asks if he's going to kiss her, because the last time he wasn't very good. Jason says that that's when he was lying about everything. Allow him to show her the difference. Some time passes and Jason turns off the shower, getting ready to get dressed when he calls out to Isabel asking if she could give him something to wear since she decided to tear his clothes off. A moment passes and there's no response, so Jason grabs the shower curtain pole and rips it off the wall. He slowly creeps out and looks down to see an overdosed Isabel on the ground. Dead on the ground. He's known addicts. He would have known if she was one. Someone did this on purpose. Someone was trying to send him a message that Isabel is dead because of him. As Jason rushes to her side, the man on the TV says that this is Jack Napier with the weather. Whether I'm right or wrong, tomorrow's going to be a scorcher, folks. It's going to be dark all night, followed by a scattered sunshine in the morning. Come on, kid. This is some of my best material. Relax. Your lady friend is going to be fine. I've already called the EMTs. Oh, in Gotham's finest. Jason looks back at the TV asking, "Is that you? Why?" And Jack responds, "Why? Why not ask? Why not?" Just then the police break in shouting, "Freeze!" And Joker rips off the face mask, asking, "Freeze? During a heat wave? Whoa! These people serve, protect, and entertain!" Jason tells the Joker that if Isabel dies, he swears to God on what's left of that pasty face that he will kill him himself. It only took seconds for the Gotham PD to storm the room as Jason held Isabel, and Jason tells them that they need to get this girl to the hospital. He's going after the man responsible for it, and if they don't stand down in the next 3 seconds, he's gonna take them all down. Harvey Bullock asks, "And how are you going to do that? You're nothing but a towel." After those 3 seconds are up, Jason grabs the shower curtain pole and goes to town. He went easy on them. Mostly, they were just doing their job. And as all of the officers begin to fall, Bullock grabs his gun, but before he can even point it, Jason is already at his throat with the shower pole. After that, Bullock called in the ambulance to take Isabel away. That's when things took a turn for the worse. Jason had taken Bullock's keys, but there was already somebody waiting for him in the back seat. And what followed was a cloud of gas. Time passes, and suddenly Jason wakes up to the sound of someone laughing. He blinks his eyes and quickly realizes that he can't move a finger. But why? What did the Joker do to him? As the laughter stops, the Joker tells him, "Don't worry. You're not having one of those out-of-body experiences, though. If anyone would know about this, it would be me. I've injected you with a toxin that completely paralyzes your body, so no funny business." Joker then leans down, telling him, "How about I tell you a joke? There's something that I've been working on for a while." Jason kicks out his leg, telling the Joker, "No, let's not." There's one thing that the Joker didn't realize after he had come back to life, that he was trained by Dukra and the All-Cast. Things like paralytic toxins mean next to nothing. Jason gets up, kicking the Joker back once more, pulling his cuffed hands around the front and reaching for a crowbar. He charges and slamming the Joker into the wall with the crowbar, pressed against his neck, telling him, "We're gonna end this right here, right now." And that's when the crowbar emits electricity, shocking Jason, causing him to fall back. The Joker sits there and begins clapping, telling him, "You and me, kid! Same as it was! You and me!" More time passes, and Jason hears the faint voice of the Joker telling him, "Wakey, wakey! You'll miss the first reel, and then you'll be lost." Jason quickly jolts up, yelling for the Joker to show himself, and why did he call him son? Joker asks, "Do you really want to know? The answer's right in front of your eyes." Jason looks down and says that he sees a spent bullet, and as he picks it up, he says that This has no significance at all. Joker asks, "Are you sure? It couldn't be the bullet that I pulled out of dear old Pops, could it?" Jason jumps to his feet and begins to run, shouting that he will find him. And that's when he suddenly stops. It's a woman and a child, and Joker says, "It's time for some traumatic childhood syndrome, loss of a parent. You were too young back then, too helpless to help." Jason kicks the mannequin, knocking off the mannequin's head that would be his mother, and Joker asks, "Do you have mommy issues? Usually it's the other parent." Jason begins running again, and that's when he trips over a small medical box. He then asks, "Do you remember that one, the night that you stole it from the good old doctor?" Jason sits back up, asking, "What are you trying to say? That you were there from the beginning, in the shadows, every step of the way?" At first there's silence, and then the Joker tells him, "Something like that." Jason snaps, "No, I'm not buying it. My life might be a steaming pile, but it's my life, not some punchline to a stale act." The Joker begins to laugh. "Actually, you kind of are. And why would we lie to each other? We're practically family." The Joker pulls a lever and the floor beneath Jason falls and he begins to tumble to the floor below. But what Jason doesn't see right away is that there's someone else in the pit with him. And that is where we're going to be leaving the Joker fight with Jason, because now you need to know, what was the Joker implying? Because that's a whole nother chapter of this. Now, don't forget, guys, to subscribe to the channel, as every Sunday you get another chapter of Red Hood and the Outlaws in the New 52 arc. We're going to do the what is the Joker implying, and we're also going to tell you what Arsenal and Starfire are doing during this period next Sunday, and then the Sunday after that, you're going to find out who exactly is in the pit with Jason. Don't forget, you can get early access to our videos if you head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/Comicstorian. You also get unedited versions of our podcast and additional footage to our D&D game. Hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys next time right here.